Instagram and YouTube Love Sugar Show. So I want to thank you for joining today.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Of course. And the first question that I ask anyone that I ever interview is how's everything going? Not just musically, but also in your personal life as well.
It's going. It's been a little crazy and busy, but each day, things get better and better. So thank you for asking.
Well, that's a good thing, right? At least
Yeah,
it's not getting worse and worse.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's a win times a million. Yeah. So thank.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Good Lord.
So I know the album comes out in a few days. Are you
Yeah.
relieved that it's finally finished and has like a date to release? How are you feeling about that?
Yeah. I'm excited for it to get it out. You do it so early that it takes. We recorded, gosh, when everything was in like October. And so now
Hmm.
it's May. So yeah, I'll be excited when it gets out there, um, and then to tour on it and such. Yeah, I'm ready for it to be out and hit the road, and play this stuff. So yeah, yeah, I'm quite happy about it actually.
Well, that's awesome. When did you kind of like start writing the album and kind of like start the
Oh
creative
gosh.
process?
So lyrically, I kept and I never do this. Usually, what I do, right, is usually I'll have lyrics, and then a week or 2 weeks before the studio, usually I'll tear them up. I'm like, sucks. I don't like it. I would, so I kept for a few years. I was living in this really shitty apartment by myself, and I would just literally go and like lay down, and I would just keep the literally I had a pad, a notepad, and I would just write down things that came into my mind, like what I thought would this work as lyrics, and I would put like verse around it, or put be like this would be great for a chorus, or try this for a bridge,
Hmm.
um, and so this is the first time I kept I kept the things that I wrote. So all the lyrics when the music were finally done were, I literally went through and was just like, okay, I like this, I like this, let's put this together, and I like this, I'll
Oh,
put this. So yeah, I literally they were like a few years in the making.
oh,
Um,
wow.
and then musically, usually Doug and I will send each other. We'll just record it to our phones and send it back and forth to each other. Uh,
Yeah.
and this is the first time I didn't sing any of these songs until we actually got in the studio. So,
Oh, wow.
so that was rather interesting. Like, how's this going to work together? But because I had everything, taken care of and such, I really knew what I wanted to do. Like, I knew what I wanted to, to layer. I knew what I wanted to do to double
Yeah.
call response, harmonies, and such. So, when we got in the studio, basically, I had lived these lyrics. So, once I put the headset on, got in front of the mic, it literally it flowed out of me really really easily, which was great.
What do you think made it different? Whereas before you would, kind of trash your lyrics versus like this time you're like, nope, these are great. These are perfect.
Yeah, I was going through some pretty heavy shit, to be honest with you. So, for me, I have to sing about something that I know about, right? I can't. I don't own a hot rod, right? Or I've never fought a dragon. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I always try to write, something obviously that I know about that can, really get behind. And yeah, they just came to me. It really was kind of a story of my last, few years. And for me not to use them, I thought would do a disservice, not only to myself, but if someone's having like a really shitty time or going through some heavy stuff,
Yeah.
my hope is that, if they heard this, they'd be like, hey, I'm not the only one that's having a tough time, tough go of it. So I love the honesty of it. And I wanted something that was really hard hitting, just because, we were going for, tonality and musicality wise. We wanted something that was pretty heavy, with a really nice groove. So I felt like, lyrically, this is what they needed to go on these songs.
And do you feel like, when you were going through those things, was it more like a therapeutic type
Yes,
of?
100%. Yeah, yeah. It's the best therapy I've ever had.
Yeah. Do
Really, it
When you
was.
were singing those songs, were you still in like the same state, or was it like kind of like your step away from
Yeah,
that?
I was. You know what? I was in a much better state. There was still some shit going on, but
Yeah.
yeah, I felt a lot better. Singing these, emotionally was kind of tough.
Hmm.
Um, but once you go over the first pass, it's just like, all right, here we go. Because I was excited to hear, how they would sound
Yeah.
over, what we had laid down in the studio. So yeah, once I heard it and it did like a rough, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. So yeah, while you're singing it, you're kind of reliving some of the things that you went through. Uh,
Yeah.
excuse me. So that just made me want to like obviously make it sound even better. Try stuff vocally that really I've never tried before, um,
Hmm.
and hopefully it came across as that.
Well, I think all of us can definitely relate to having a crappy time in life sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely awesome to have, music when you can listen to it and be like, okay, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and I was listening to so much different sorts of music too. I think I really wanted to kind of let a lot of stuff that I listen to and a lot of stuff that influences me. I really wanted to let it really kind of shine on this album. Especially thinking of chorus, phrasing, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Uh, it's the first time I really wanted to kind of jump on the stuff that I really love and why I got into music in the first place, and kind of let that shine a little bit more.
And I know you mentioned like when you were like going through it and singing it for the first time, it was kind of rough.
Yeah.
But was there also like a sense of relief just because you're like,
Oh,
okay, that was like way back now and now I'm way
totally.
better?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's you kind of tell yourself you're like, if I can get through this, everything else will be okay. And
Yeah.
so yeah, when it came time to sing, really, I just kind of shut everything out. It was just like, here we go, and just having being I was really prepared, so that made it also really easy. And once I'd hear it back, I was like, I would just get more excited and more, because usually I don't listen to hardly any of the stuff I've ever done. To be honest, like I don't own any Gozu stuff because I'm a touch bit critical.
Yeah.
So this was the first time I was like, oh, actually, I don't mind listening to the sound of my own voice, or I like what I'm doing. So
That's
in that
awesome.
aspect, yeah, it was it was a plus, all the way around, which I needed, to be really
Yeah.
honest. I needed to be lifted up during that time.
Well, that's awesome that you have like, an outlet and, an ability to share that with other people because we all go through some stuff at some point, for sure.
Yeah, so it just and there's so much craziness going on in the world, right?
Sure.
I mean, you can wake up one day and feel spectacular, wake up the next day and you read the news and you're like, I'm going to hide under these for like 2 weeks. So, so for me, yeah, being able to channel that and, being able to really kind of hone in on, and then to be able to make, a chorus like this or a verse like this,
Yeah.
and just have the backing of the other three. That's usually, that kind of drives you more than anything, is knowing that the other guys in your band, and Benny Grotto, who was engineered and mixed and produced it, having him being there for, be like, okay, I like that, and okay, let's try this. So there's always
Mhm.
that amazing camaraderie, but this one was really I think it went up and above in
Yeah,
having that kind of, it's nice having people in your corner.
I think it is for sure. It's always nice to have other people who can bounce ideas off of, who support you, and yeah, makes it a lot easier for sure.
Hey, it's more fun, I mean, you're not just in there because you have to do it. You're in there because you want to do it, and you want to make something that people will dig into. So, yeah. It was very cathartic, shall we say.
So since it sounds like the lyrics were very emotional for you, what song on the album do you have like the most emotional connection to?
All of them, not to be every one of them. Every one of them tells, it's definitely a story from start to finish. Um, I would say they did know karate is probably the most that in Midnight Express. I think the most, but yeah, every one of them, like Cornelia. Yeah, they're all. Um, I would say, but musically, in I think my favorite to play is "They Did No Karate."
Is there a specific reason why those ones?
Yeah, um, yeah, that one. I was listening. I was listening to like a lot of Bonnie Raitt and Journey, uh, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like Neil Young, but also like a ton of Joy Division, Roxy music, like Marshall Tucker, Allman Brothers, Skinner. This And then I'd listen to like Sabbath or Sleep or Iron Maiden. Uh,
Yeah.
that one kind of brought in all the influences of like some really heavy singer songwriters. Um, just the phrasing aspect, even right down to like breathing. I'm a huge like Culture Club fan, and 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 you know stuff you don't pick up on. You're like when you're in your 20s, right? You get in your 50s, you're like, how the you do that? Or so
Yeah.
your interest gets so peaked. Um, so I wanted to try and have the flow of like a "I Can't Make You Love Me" by like Bonnie Raitt or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I wouldn't go for anything like that, but the music lent itself, especially the chorus and kind of the feel of everything, from the intro to the verse to the chorus, and then till the ending, I just was like, here we go. I'm just going to let it out. So as of right now, we had a show 2 weeks ago. We played 5 new ones, and that is my favorite to play and sing right now. I mean, I'm sure that'll change, when we're on the road, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I really, I can honestly say I like every song on this album. Um,
That's good though.
yeah, like if we could play all this shit out live, I would love it. It's unfortunately you just don't have the time. But
Mm-hmm.
that right now is that, and well, Killer Khan too. So yeah, live right now it's Killer Khan, Midnight Express, and They Did No Karate are probably my three faves at the moment.
Well, I'm sure if that changes, we have you saying those for right now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yes, yes, yes.
so when you like sing a song for the first time live, how do you
Mhm.
feel like before you actually perform?
I don't. I played sports from the time I was like 4, literally into college. So I kind of go, at everything kind of like that. So I'm more excited, to get out there and really kind of sing these lyrics. I don't get nervous and stuff like that. Not to sound like I'm this, spectacular. But for me, it's more like I love playing live. I love it.
Yeah.
If I could play every day, I would. So for me, I get excited because no one's ever heard this besides, the four dudes in the band, people in the label, who, like the person that mastered it, Ryan. And so, you know, you're more excited to see how it goes over, right? Are people bopping their head? Are
Yeah.
they moving? Are they dancing? So for me, it's really it's more excitement, and it's just making sure that vocally, I'm hitting what I need to hit, and also putting a little bit extra more into it. The crowd is you totally vibe off the crowd, whether there's three
Yeah.
people there or thousands, right? You still have to you know give it 1,000% because people are spending money. You know what I mean? To just dial. I think that's kind of horseshit. I've seen bands where I'm like these guys don't want to be on stage. So having witnessed that from an early age to even now, um, I want to make sure if there's two people there or thousands that we're hitting the note just as hard for the two people as we are for if you're playing an outdoor festival or something like that. So I love it. I love playing live. It's by far my favorite thing to do.
Do you have any like rituals or anything before you like go on stage?
No, yeah, no. I do like some breathing techniques and shit now for my voice that I learned.
Mhm.
Fuck, I never did that stuff before. So now, you know what I mean. Now I'll do like stuff like that. Uh, but pretty much, yeah, no rituals or really anything. Um, do I have any? No, I don't. It'd be great, like if I like cut that. I don't have any rituals at all, to be honest with you. Um, you know what I
That
mean?
sounds
Yeah. No.
messy before
What's that?
going. I said that ritual sounds like it could be messy before going on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah, that'd be shitty, right? Yeah, no, I don't. I don't. Yeah, for me now, it's more just trying to make sure like vocally I'm warmed up.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I do. That's probably I'm getting better at not pushing, watching what I eat before we play. Watch what I drink, or if there's other partaking. I'm as I've grown older, I've become a little bit more of an adult in that in that aspect. So
Yeah.
now, yeah, it's just a lot more, having like a throat lozenge and going up and doing scales vocally. Yeah, there's no like I don't no incense involved or aligning my chakras or any stuff like that. You know what I mean? Making sure my pants fit and and
That's a good one.
that you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I don't. It's more. Again, it's more. It's just excitement to play.
Well,
Uh,
that's awesome. It's always good if you enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's also making sure that physically, you're capable of doing that, for 45 minutes, to an hour, just, making sure that, you know, when to lean in, when to kind of lean back. And that,
Mhm.
that gets easier as you get older and the more you play.
Well, that's awesome. Like you said, you can tell if a band is enjoying it or if they're like, I don't want to be on stage. Like,
Yeah,
I want to sing and get out of here.
yeah, right. That sucks. Like, because you're like, I could be in fucking bed right now. You know what I mean? I could be enjoying like the best sub in the world, and instead I'm watching these guys on stage who want to fucking kill each other. So yeah, it's just I never want to be a band where someone's like, yeah, I saw those guys. Yeah, they fucking, you know what I mean? So,
I hear you. I mean, as I get older, the idea of being in bed and not going out and partying, I'm like, that works for me.
oh
So,
my god, right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're like, I could right now, be watching, a movie, just kind of relaxing. So yeah, if someone's going to, take the time, especially during a weekday, right? You're working and shit. So if
yeah,
they're going to come down, yeah, you have to make it worthwhile, obviously for them, but you have to make it worthwhile for yourself. Because if not, why do you play live, right? Why are you in a band?
exactly.
You know. So yeah, it's the way I look at it these days.
So back to the album, which song
Mhm.
was like the most challenging to write?
Mm. Uh, musically, man.
That's a good thing when you have to think about it.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no trauma during recording, I guess.
No, 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 no. You know what? So the thing is that with us, right? The four of us have to dig it. If not, then we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Uh, so a few of the tunes, went through some, transformations, but obviously, the transformations were good. Like Corvette Summer, that I really kind of knew what I wanted, especially for the end. I was, there's a tune by the Gap Band that I love. It's called Outstanding, and I wanted something with that feel. So getting the kind of outro into so it could be smooth to go to the to the outro of that part.
Mhm.
Um, and and also they did know karate. That went through a few transformations too. Um, but it wasn't anything where people are. We just wanted the flow to not be something like all of a sudden you're A, right, and jump
Yeah.
to X, right. We wanted something so the listener could also feel that flow. um, so yeah, so there's teetering, and then like Banachek, that was really really easy. God, Corinthian Leatherface, those tunes were like, okay, here we go. Like literally, once they got on pay, we did a couple things that we changed, but that was just like, instead of hitting 6 to 8, let's go 8 to 6. Like, oh, here we go. So, and then like Midnight Express, it's just that's one I had, thought about for a while, and
Yeah.
so we got in, and again, it just, it's great when stuff can click, right? You're just like, okay, you want to speed that up at the end? Yeah, let's try that, and and it works. So, um,
Yeah.
sometimes you get caught in your own psyche. You're like, this should just, and really, simple is better. Uh, you know, there are times maybe, excuse me, uh, to kind of get out, the glass and be like, should I do that?
Yeah.
It's okay. But for me, like my favorite band is the Elmer Brothers. So if each song was 20 minutes, I'd be fine. Like I really kind of pushed Doug to solo. Like, come on, let's go. So I I love that where uh, I'm kind of the only guy in the band that really enjoys that type of music, shall we
Yeah.
say? Um, so again, this album, I think the four of us have very very distinct musical tastes, right? Obviously, there's stuff we all adore together, but
Yeah.
but I think again, this one was like an amazing melting pot for how each of us play, right, our instrument. And again, I think we were able to really kind of showcase that, um, in every song. But there's different parts of songs. I'll be like, that of my life. You know what I mean? Like, luckily, that doesn't happen to us in the studio. But this was the easiest to record by far. I mean, it totally was.
And when people listen to the album, when they finally get a chance, what are they going to like experience? Like, what themes are they going to be exploring?
So musically, this is, I think tonality wise, it's the best that we have recorded. Um, this is one where we went through pedals, tried each one and be like, okay, this is what we're using, right? Like we want this to be thick, or you want this to be more, kind of bass heavy, stuff like that. So we actually really took the time, and instead of just going in and just clicking shit and like recording, we
Hmm.
actually, we knew the sound that we wanted, and I think we were able to achieve that. So tonality wise, I think this is a heavier kind of guitar album.
Hmm.
Lyrically, it's dealing with kind of life, really the ups and downs, where you thought you're going to be, and you end up, you're not there. Uh,
Hmm.
dealing with loss, kind of, kind of being heartbroken, and how do you get the really?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it is. I mean, it's a sad album, but musically, it's not. So it's very yin and yang. Musically, you want to go and I think you want to dance and maybe hop in a car and do like a 95 in a 30 mile per hour zone, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but lyrically, it tells a very honest story.
Well, that's awesome. I feel like you have both. Like, you can just listen to the music or you can deep dive into it. So you choose your adventure.
100%. Yes, exactly. Yeah. 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 You could either, go with a snorkel, or you could put a full wetsuit on, right? Throw a tank on your back and go in. So it's really, yeah, it's up to the listener, whatever their mood is, while they're popping it on.
Well, one last question here for you.
Yep.
Is there anything you'd like to say to like old fans, new fans, anyone interested in listening to this album? The virtual floor is all yours.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I would say, for people that, have listened, from Locust season to now, This definitely harkens kind of back to Locust Season, but it's I think it's much better. It has those really nice kind of early guitar levels, and it's kinetic. But if someone is just getting into us, I think it kind of encapsulates the five albums before, but it just brings what we wanted to do up to kind of a higher plateau. Um, and the way we describe it, it's heavy. We kind of call it heavy soul music, right? Like
Mhm.
we, if you can't shake your ass to this, I don't think that's our issue, right? you know, so if you enjoy riffs and you like harmonies, um, I think people will enjoy this album, or I hope they do, because it's probably the most honest album that we have recorded.
Well, that's awesome. For anyone who's interested in the album, it is over here and it comes out on the 15th, so you have to wait a little bit. I'll put all the links below so you can click on it, pre-order it, or order it if this interview is already out. I listened to it. I really enjoyed it. I also like dancey, heavy metal, like basically everything. And this album was like a combination of everything that I like. So I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Did you have a favorite track on the album?
My problem was I started listening to the album and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for a song that I don't like, and I never
Ah,
found one.
that's wonderful. That's great. That's the best thing I've ever heard. Thank you.
And the problem was I'm like, I like this song too, and I'm like, what's my favorite? I'm like, I don't have one. I love the whole album.
Oh, thank you. That's great to hear. Yeah, that's kind of how the four of us felt. So thank you so much. Yeah, you
Well,
know.
thank you for doing this interview.
Queen of your heart, looking over the